Welcome back to the Sound of Musicals. And today we've got something very, very special that I've wanted to talk to these guys for a long time. I saw their production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame on YouTube, and it is such an amazing, amazing thing. I'll let these guys talk about it in a bit and explain why it's so special. But I'd like to welcome EJ Cardona and Joshua Castille.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for having us today.
And
we're very excited to be here.
And I'd also like to point out to the people that are just listening, we've got Brad here that is interpreting for Joshua, who is using ASL to talk to us, which is very, very exciting. Thank you, Brad.
Welcome.
Okay, so for those guys at home that don't know what I'm talking about when I say this production is special, I'd like to hand over to you guys to explain why.
I'm going to let Josh take over that one.
Well, this production of Hunchback, it was directed by the director who saw a deaf actor attempt it and realized that this role itself is a deaf role. So when he decided to get a deaf character in this production, he realized there was so much more nuance having a deaf person, so much more connection to the actual role. Yeah. And he connected that role of Quasimodo with a gargoyle in a new way. So the Hunchback and the gargoyle would be the voice of the Hunchback and altered the entire story in small ways. We worked through that, and then he redid the production but cast me for the second time, and AJ is my gargoyle.
Yeah.
So when we worked together, EJ and myself, we just really invested in each other and got together and really saw ourselves connecting as one person on stage, and we worked to really develop those two characters. And I think we made a great collaboration, and the director found some special notes. We saw some new perspective on the role, and it blew up on the internet, and I'm just really, really thankful to everyone.
Yeah, it's a brilliant, brilliant production as well. And EJ, you sing wonderfully, and Josh, your acting is so, so emotive as well.
Oh, thank you.
So what was the rehearsal process like for a production like this that is welcoming to you and to EJ as well?
EJ?
So the rehearsal was unlike anything that I've ever done before. When I first got the call to do the show, I immediately looked up who was Josh Castille, and of course, I saw things on YouTube and I was like, oh, he's amazing. So I reached out to him on, I think it was Instagram. But once we got into rehearsals, Josh has his two interpreters with him. And it was just a matter of as much communication as we can possibly do.
Yeah.
That first week, we really got to study the language and what it's like working with a deaf person in this way, because a lot of people in the cast had never done that before, and me, even though I knew a little bit of sign, I had never worked with a deaf person.
Oh, now you know a lot, AJ. Come on, you know a lot.
But so I had never. I've only socialized with deaf people. I've never worked with them, so it was a learning experience for me for sure, and one that it helped with empathy and really trying to dig deeper into those characters, because at the same time I was trying to learn Josh and learn this new way of working with somebody. So yeah, I think it translated when we finally got to the stage as well.
I think one of the things that really blew me away about EJ was when I first started. I remember he was like, my role is the voice for you. And I'm like, no, I think we need to work together. What are your ideas, EJ? And here's my ideas. And we really talk about it. And, everything had a purpose, because, it didn't need to be entirely represented in sign or voice. It could be a combination together. And then once EJ started to watch me, what I was doing on stage, I remember one rehearsal that we did, Made of Stone, the song is called.
Yeah.
I was doing my acting bit, and EJ stopped it. He's like, hey, we got to do this again. Josh has a lot more pain. He has a lot more hurt going on. And so we got to do this again. And so I rewound myself and did it again. And then EJ just zoomed in and matched me. And then the room was just like, that's it. That's what's going on here. This is the thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool because there's a lot of signs that I caught that he was doing, so I was able to really tell what words he was emphasizing or choosing to express, and he would change them every night. Like he would sign something just a little different, a little stronger, or a little more internalized the next night. But it was my responsibility as his voice to really deliver that message, because how easy is it for me to just stand there and sing it the way I want to sing it?
Yeah.
But it was important that I got across the message that he was trying to say. So that was most of the rehearsal, was getting on the same page as, okay, matching Josh's energy on however he chooses to tell that story.
Yeah. You both kind of really become one character, really. I've seen the Made of Stone and the Out There performance, and you both become one character, one entity almost, and it gives extra depth to both of your characters and the relationship between them as well, because people in the Disney film may have been expecting a different show, and then you guys come on and you do this, and it's even better. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's really what happens when you add different people into the different roles, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that we recognize now. Diversity, people with different perspectives, different experiences. Everyone can bring something different to a role. I remember when I was younger, I was working on my gay identity, and I was very religious at that time, and I saw a Black lesbian woman say, the way I read the Bible is much different than the way this straight white man reads the Bible.
Yeah.
And that really struck me, and I thought that was really interesting. And just, as the years went by, different people I worked with, different teachers, different directors, people kept saying, what does this mean to you, Josh, as a deaf person? How does this impact you? And that really got to me. And when I started to show the audience, like, what that meant, like what this line means to me, what this song means to me, what this part means to me, I think the audience started to say, wow, like, we're seeing totally two different stories going on here.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And I hope that we see more of that kind of storytelling told by different people.
Yeah. And sorry, EJ,
Sorry.
you go on.
Oh no, I thought it was a lot of people in the audience, of course, thought they were coming to see Hunchback of Notre Dame, a staged version of the movie.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good surprise for people, and a different side of the story that they never even realized was there, and it was because of the choice to make Quasimodo deaf.
Yeah.
The smart and the correct choice to make him deaf. And I just thought that was very, very special, and I thought the audience really grabbed it.
Yeah. Well, I can only talk for myself, but I believe loads of other people. I believe I put out a promotional post for you two coming on the show, and people saying I made an effort to fly all the way to America to see this specific production of Hunchback of Notre Dame because of the way it was staged. And I feel like that's such an honor for you to be a part of something so unique and special.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, wow. I mean, what do you say?
It was pretty amazing to see how, and even just friends and family who traveled as far as they did. I wish I could have met everybody who traveled as far as even Europe. I didn't even realize that we had people coming that far just to see our production. So that's really exciting to hear.
Yeah, EJ. I mean, EJ's mom couldn't talk to me after the show.
No. Mm-mm.
She was just like,
Yeah.
Just like she was like all listing up. I mean, it really touched me.
Mm.
That's wonderful, and I really hope we get to see something similar over here in the UK. It's not often that something like this is really mainstream and really promoted, and I'd like to see more of that in the future, like you said, Josh.
I totally agree. I hope so. I know that many people in the UK who are deaf or have been wanting to work on shows, or who are actors who want to do some Shakespeare. I mean, there's lots of things that people in the UK want to do. And I think that even the world now is waking up to the perspective that we can, as deaf people, bring something to a production. People who are diverse, people of color, everybody has different experience they can bring to the stage.
EJ, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that it's so important to include, you know, just have diverse people on stage, whether it comes to race
Yeah.
or you know, disabilities or diffabilities, as Josh likes to say. I learned that from him. But I think that our production was special because so many times sign language is used as, oh, it's so pretty, it's so beautiful, but it was really very cool and important that our audience saw that, oh, this is a functional language. Like
Yes, of
Josh
course.
has, like, he needs this to get through even this performance or even to tell this story. It's not just like, oh, let's sign the last song so it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought it was really important to show the audience how important this language was, and that is the beauty of uh, keeping diversity on stage.
Yeah, I think the choice the director made to have the hunchback speak, and then when the song happens, it's like from his heart. His real language is like emoting through sign language. I think that particular choice was particularly powerful, and I think that's one thing that made the audience, especially the hearing people, realize, oh, like deaf people do feel comfortable in sign language. Sign language does have its own emotive qualities. You don't have to just keep it in a box and match people who else are on stage. So, and I really like the nuances of that choice.
Yeah, and as you said, EJ, it's much more than just choreography. It's much more than that. It's your way of communicating.
Absolutely.
And I believe that you two became really good friends thanks to this production, because it's 2 years ago now, isn't it?
No, we don't like each other at all.
I never talked to this guy.
We went our
I wasn't
separate
invited
ways.
to his wedding or anything.
No, we became very, very close almost immediately. I feel like the first day that I landed in Seattle, Josh and I met at a restaurant and just sat and talked all for like a couple hours, I think. And from then on, we were like, oh, this is gonna work. Like, and then we decided, that we were gonna get each other through this show. And then it just, when the show closed, our friendship never did. So we just kept going.
Yeah. I mean, plays have different roles that you really let yourself get into it. You have different mindsets. Each character has their own mindset. And I think the Hunchback was a surprise for me because the Hunchback itself is very sweet. He has, the best of intentions. He's following his heart through the show. If he even hurts anybody in any way, he will find a way to, fix it and atone for it. And I think that was really difficult on me, and my emotions, my mental state, to go through that personal journey every night and to just see the world, shit on him like that and just squash him down and crush him every single night. And I mean, you can ask EJ, like, as the show went on, I mean, it really became harder and harder and harder to tell the story. So to have someone who was there with you on that journey until the end, and then even after that, to give you a hug, like when I was crying, for 10, 15 minutes after the show, he'd be there to give me a hug, and I would just be sobbing after I left the stage. And, you can't just be like, okay, good show tonight, see ya. I mean, that's a bond for life, that's, I'm in my mind, he's in my mind, we're together on this thing. That's what something special created.
Yeah. Have you both worked on anything since this production at all?
I actually went and saw Josh. I went back to Seattle to see him in Romeo and Juliet because, I mean, once I worked with him, I was like, I want to see everything you do ever. So I flew to Seattle and saw him play Romeo, and he was just brilliant. I personally have not done any theater since Hunchback, but I've been doing a lot more stuff in my music career. Singing, but not any theater, unfortunately. I miss it very much.
Oh, and we did a cabaret show together, though.
We did. Yeah.
So there's that, because we just wanted to do songs together again. So we did that, and I saw him doing his show, and I definitely don't think this is the end of our working relationship. I mean, I think we're going to have more in the future. I think just with coronavirus, once that's over, and then, other opportunities will present themselves. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I hope to see you guys in more as well, and hopefully see you in person, because I never got the chance to see this show in person. I've only seen clips on YouTube, and I feel it would be incredible to see you perform live.
Well,
thank
we
you,
always
thank you. I mean, I would love to mount it again.
Oh yeah, we always talk. We're always texting each other or calling each other. Be like, "Have you gotten called? Are we doing it again?" But it's just we wait for the stars to align, and hopefully we can do it again.
Come over to the UK.
Right.
You should come over here and do it.
Right? Do you want to produce our show?
Oh my God, done. Yeah, I will learn BSL. Let's go.
Oh yeah, because it's a different sign language, isn't it?
Oh yes. Historically speaking, the British did not share their signs with us. It was actually the French who did, so we stole French Sign Language.
Oh, I had no idea of the origins of the different things. So, as you said, Josh, as well, with coronavirus, it's kind of halting lots of theatre at the moment. I know in America they're all closed. In England, we're starting to try and open them up, but it's still with social distancing. How have you two been dealing with this lack of new material, lack of theatre? How has it been for you guys?
It's really difficult. It's like once theater has been a part of your life for as long as it has in our lives, it's hard to just rip it out and not have it. But I think we have a responsibility as artists to create new things in whatever life we are living currently. So art is not limited to the theater, and I think that if we're up to the challenge, that we can create some beautiful work regardless of coronavirus and the state of the world right now. So I think sometimes the best art comes out of the darkest moments. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I agree. And Josh as well?
For me, it's a really odd experience because, the deaf art community is just like spread out all across the United States. Like we're just all over the map. And so now everything is stopped, productions have stopped, and we're not all working. We're not all doing our thing. I mean, now we are, we're doing Zoom plays, we're doing Zoom readings, we're doing Zoom workshops on writing plays. And so I feel like the deaf community has really all of a sudden like come together in a way that it hadn't before. I mean, just yesterday we had a panel with UK actors and American actors to discuss deaf rights, how that applies to acting, like, how are unions working in the UK? How are unions working here in America? How do they provide interpreters in the UK? We were just talking about this on a panel, and it felt like with coronavirus, it kind of gave us, it gave us a system, like Zoom is a thing now, and
yes,
we have everybody on screens and everybody's getting together. I mean, like we're getting together now. And so, I'm starting to see other talents that I hadn't seen. We're seeing each other more than we had before. And I think that, like EJ said, that was a push to get us to think, okay, how do we provide a full, complete performance through this medium that we're on, this little screen that we're on right now? Yeah. How do we do it from home? And I enjoy that challenge, but I still would run back to the theater once this is done.
Of course,
but
yeah.
Also, if I may tack on to that, like deaf people your entire lives now have had to figure out alternate ways to express yourself, So, and I think this is much a different territory for hearing people in general right now, because we are like, oh my gosh, we can't just show up to an audition and get a job. Like, deaf people, I've watched Josh and our friend Jules just work to create their own work and their own art. And I think that you guys probably have a head start when it comes to creating new things, because hearing people are just kind of like, what do we do? Running into walls. And
I mean, you're exactly right, though. I mean, that perspective, that privilege really changes the way, that we interact with the world and how we interact with each other. I feel like people, sometimes I hear people say, oh, everything's so messed up. Technology's taking over. Communication's all bad. And yeah. I'm like, no, like deaf people are finally in the conversation now that this is going on. We can finally advocate for ourselves. And now you think the world's messed up? Come on. No.
That's a great perspective on this, because obviously we're all using Zoom. We're using it right now to talk to each other. Whereas in the studio, I'd be limited to a phone, and it's opened up loads of new opportunities for new ways of making theatre.
Indeed.
So do you guys have any plans going forward, maybe when things lift? Have you got any projects that you're working on at the moment at all for people at home to look forward to?
Well, I am, if I may, Josh, sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm in a group called Voctive, an acapella group, and we're releasing our album on October 6th. So hopefully we'll start up our tour next year. So
congratulations.
We're crossing our fingers for that. See if coronavirus will, let us do something. But that's my newest thing right now.
Okay.
As for me, I am now working on a short film that I'm really excited about. I was hired by another company. I can't announce it right now. I'm sorry, but it'll be out and about later. But I'm working on a short film, and I'm also working on making our concert. A virtual concert at some point happening. So, I mean, those are things I can talk about. And, you got to make your own work. You got to keep it going and see what happens.
Yeah. I look forward to that. Hopefully, I'll be able to promote that maybe on my platform.
Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you so much.
Okay, so one final question now, because we're coming towards the end of the interview, unfortunately. And I just want to say it's been amazing talking to you. I looked up to you guys when I saw this. I thought how inspirational it is. And you've inspired me to do as much as I can to kind of include as many people as I can.
Oh, good,
awesome.
Good. Yes, do it.
So I've got one more question that I do ask everyone. It's the big question for musical theatre, really, is what is your favourite musical?
Into the Woods.
Straight away there, Josh, straight away.
I think I have to say Les Mis is probably my favorite.
Good choices, very good choices. May I ask why?
I mean, I'm a dark person, so Les Mis really works. Les Mis, the music, it was one of the first professional productions I ever saw, and I got to do it in high school as well. And it's just, I think the story is great, the music's great, and what a great piece.
And Josh, for Into the Woods as well?
Into the Woods, I love because I am a kid at heart. I mean, if you know me, I am totally a kid. So to talk about grown-up things, but with kid stories, is just like, love it. That is my thing. And I know that the style of that show is very, really wordy, a lot of wordplay, a lot of puns and stuff. But, I mean, so it fits me. It fits my taste in Broadway. And I know that Les Mis is very classic. It's very mature. It's very sophisticated. And that fits EJ's style, I think.
So two very different things there, but you're both such good friends. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think that we respect each other's tastes. We respect each other, our voices. And I think that we're able to, just make agreements and come together on things. And
you certainly came together on The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And once this show is over, I definitely recommend people that haven't seen clips to go and look at it on YouTube. We've been putting links on our Facebook pages and Twitter pages as well. I definitely recommend you check it out because it is an amazing performance, probably the best performance of Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, and what is your favorite musical, Callum?
What is my favourite musical? I've never been asked that before. Thank you. I would say...
Oh, tables have turned, haven't they?
I would say it's a small musical. You got it on Broadway for a couple years. It's called Once. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yes. With the instruments.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just
simple. Why?
It's just so simple and beautiful, and it's just a lovely kind of small, real and true story that people can relate to. And I love the music of it.
That is nice.
I saw it on tour and it was beautiful. Good choice.
Yeah. It was actually the last show that I saw before theatres closed down. So it has that extra bit of meaning as well.
That's great.
So In your country, in your area right here, is that what you're talking about? Is that where you saw it before it
Yeah, I
closed?
saw it nearby on tour, not in London.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lovely production. And so all that leaves me to say is I'll get some songs from Into the Woods and Les Mis on the show later as well. And thank you guys for joining me for this wonderful interview. It's been great to talk to you guys, as I said before.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for having us. Yes.